Yankees baseball on My 9.
Well, Chicago looks great on a Tuesday evening, and the Yankees are in town. Where are they? They're at Wrigley Field, the friendly confines. Place that's been open since 1914, and the Yankees are here with Derek Jeter making some fans happy. It is time for baseball as My 9 presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Chicago Cubs, and the first of two from Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees and the Cubs, that's kind of neat. Interleague baseball, pretty good as well. But the pitching matchup, that's what's going to get everybody's attention tonight. Let's take a look for the Cubs. Jason Hamill's pretty good, 4-2, 3.06. And Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees, 6-0, 2.17. The pitching matchup brought to you by McDonald's. This summer at McDonald's, come in for the kid-approved $2.99 Happy Meal. Offer only at participating McDonald's. Let's talk Tanaka, Al. He has been outstanding. He is must-see TV.
He is, Michael, and I'm excited that I'm here to be able to watch it live. I'll tell you what, coming off his first Major League shutout against the Mets, this was back on April 16th, his third start, 8 innings, only 2 hits. The Cubs had 2 bunt singles, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. You talk about the combination of a fastball, the great split finger, 2 breaking balls. These Cub hitters didn't know which way was coming. He is that dominating. Very, very good pitcher.
These are some of the Cubs that he's going to have to really handle now. Wellington Castillo is not in the lineup today, but Holt, 20 RBIs. Rizzo with power, 7 home runs, 21 ribbies. And Starlin Castro, a 302 hitter with 6 home runs and 22 runs batted in. So, can Tanaka make it 7-0? Got some big stars when you have the first city against the second city. It's going to be pretty cool. Yankees against the Cubs. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball next, right here on My 9. Brought to you in part by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By GMC, visit tristategmc.com for great lease offers. And by Chase, banking for the life you have, investing for the life you want. It is a very hot and humid night here in Chicago, Illinois. It feels like the middle of the summer, and there is a chance of thunderstorms in the forecast. So hope that they hold off so we get this full game in. The Cubs have taken the field. Let's take a look now at the New York Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. Hyundai leaves the rest waiting. Find out why by visiting buyhyundai.com today. Brett Gardner's in left field. He'll lead off. Batting second, the captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Jacoby Ellsbury's in center field. He'll bat third. Cleaning up, first baseman Mark Teixeira. Brian McCann is the catcher. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Alfonso Soriano. Yan Hervis Solarde is the third baseman, batting seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, Brian Roberts. No DH in the National League ballpark, so the pitcher, Masahiro Tanaka, will indeed bat ninth.
On the mound here, Michael, Jason Hammel, the veteran pitcher. He's done a nice job for the Cubs early this part of the season. You see his numbers. 10th rounder by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2002. This is his ninth start. Fourth start here at Wrigley Field. Let's take a look at the Chicago Cubs pitcher scatter report, brought to you by your local Acura dealer. Good slider. Fastball slider, but watch the slider, folks. 28% of the time. Batting average against his slider is 107. Very good. April-May splits. Very interesting. His first 5 starts, he was 4-1 with a 2.08. Very good. Only a 144 batting average against. He's had 3 starts in May. He's 0-1 in those 3 starts with a 4.9 ERA. Almost 5. Not good. And I got the don't unpack, Michael, for Mr. Hammel. He had a 1-year deal signed on January 31st. This team is definitely in flux. This is about the future. It's about the prospects. We'll talk about it tonight. He will be a nice pickup somewhere for some team that's in it on July 31st.
Let's check out the defense that will be behind Jason Hammel. In the outfield, Junior Lakes in left, Emilio Bonifacio in center, and Nate Shearholtz over in right. In the infield, Olt Castro, Valbuena, and Rizzo, third to first. John Baker's behind the plate. Now told you all about Jason Hammel on the mound. Yankees come in at 23-20, and the Cubs not good, 15-27. They expect sellout crowds for both of these games with the Yankees in town. The Yankees will be in town all week because they move on to the south side of Chicago to play the White Sox for 4 games starting on Thursday evening. So Gardner's been red hot atop the lineup. See his numbers, 297 with 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. Gardner's ready, so is Hammel. And let's do it here at Wrigley Field. The first pitch is up and away, and we are underway. Home plate umpire is Lance Barrett. Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, is at first. Ron Culpa at second, and Ed Hickox is over at third. Grounded up the middle, knocked down by Hammel. Scrambles after it, fires to first, not in time. He took way too much time. It's like he didn't even realize who was running. Maybe he was shaken up by getting hit.
Yeah, maybe so, Mike. I'm watching from our vantage point here. Brett Gardner can flat out run. Watch a little two-hopper. Let's see what hits him on the belly. I don't know. He's 31 years old. You're right. He didn't realize how fast Gardner was, but that just shows you right there, folks. Speed, unbelievable. He's got 2 or 3 steps and throws a strike to Anthony Rizzo, and he's safe. Ooh, looks like he got him on his hand.
And Rick Renteria and the trainer are out to check out Hammel.
Here you are, 2 pitches into the start and a little comebacker. Talking about comebackers, Michael, earlier today, the Chicago Cubs, and you don't see this at the major league level, they had a full-blown infield, outfield practice and pitchers fielding practice. I could tell you, Michael, the only time that I remember having to do that was if we did something wrong as pitchers. Interesting, just to where they are as an organization, talking about the future and young players. And
you don't see teams do it at all. They never take infield practice. This was like a spring training drill with the outfielders involved and the infielders and pitchers fielding practice. It was amazing, and they did it for a long time on a very hot day.
Pickoff plays, you know, it was actually kind of fun to watch because you mentioned it. You know, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Well, they're going to see if Hammel is okay. Gardner picked up his 10th infield hit already, and he's not okay.
Ooh. Wow. Uh-oh. That can't be good.
Let's see if he stays in.
You know, I know I say it often as an ex-pitcher. It's just you have little reaction time. We know and see the stories of line drives coming back at pitchers, but even that, Michael, it looks kind of benign. But coming off, skipping off the grass and hits you the wrong way.
Well, a standing ovation from the crowd here at Wrigley Field. Now, flying in last night, I don't know if you had the same feel, Al. The plane full of New Yorkers coming to see this series.
Yeah, I did. Coming out of Newark, there was, I wouldn't say half the plane, but many people wearing Yankee jerseys and hats. And pretty cool.
Chasing Gardner back. And it shows you the appreciation Jeter has around baseball, because how many times has Jeter played here at Wrigley Field? He doesn't have a history here. Obviously, the Yankees have been here a couple of times, but they just appreciate, they've read, they've seen, they've watched games, what this guy's meant to baseball, and they wanted to show some affection. Yeah, there are some New Yorkers here, but obviously the majority is Chicago fans. Beautiful bunt down the third baseline. Old Fields fires, and they get Jeter. Just got him. That is some play by Mike Alt.
Very nice play. That was not a sacrifice. Derek took it upon himself to see where Alt was. Perfect bunt. Alt had to do everything exactly right. Look at this. Bang, bang. Pulled Rizzo toward the outside foul territory. Nice play by Anthony Rizzo as well. Oh, wait a minute. This is close. We might have to see a little...
I think Derek thought he was safe because he really walked very slowly off the field and gave the Yankees time to look at the replay in the clubhouse. Now Joe Girardi's going to go talk with Dana DeMuth. What'd you think on that last replay, Al?
I'm saying bang, bang, but there you just saw the call from Tony Pena, crossed his arms saying no. I guess they had a...
Wow.
Well, it has to be conclusive in order for them to overrule it.
Well, they give Jeter a sac bunt as Gardner moves to second.
Wow. So there you have it. So it's bang, bang, non-conclusive. They wouldn't have overturned it.
Here's Ellsbury. 1 for his last 19. High pop-up. Left field. Lake puts it away for the second out. New York Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
Tough guy right now, Michael. If you saw the left fielder, Junior Lake, kind of put his hands up in the air, and Emilio Bonifacio came running over. A little twilight action right now. Tough to see off the bat.
Al, 4 pitches to get 3 hitters. Your dream, huh?
It would only be a dream.
Here's Teixeira. Now, strangely, as Hamill deals a strike, they do not shift for Teixeira like other teams do. Castro shaded up the middle, but I can't remember the last time I watched Teixeira up there as a left-handed batter, and there were 3 infielders on the right side.
Wow, good point. Yeah.
The 0-1. 0-2.
Well, that's definitely been the trend. I know we've talked about that a lot as baseball analysts and fans of the game. Shifting has exponentially changed over just the last 3 years. The number of shifts of all major league teams, the Yankees are second to Houston in shifts. You know, also, too, I want to make a comment about that because you have Jason Hamill on the mound. These shifts are being orchestrated from somewhere up above with spray charts that are shown to the pitching coach, manager, respectively. But there are also pitchers, veteran guy, I think Jason Hamill's earned it, to kind of overrule it. You know, there's certain pitchers that can't pitch to shifts or won't pitch to shifts. Meaning, if you shift a guy, Jason Hamill's got a good slider. Sinker runs the ball away. He's primarily fastball away to the left. He's back foot slider.
Well, most shifts, though, it doesn't matter. They think it doesn't matter how you pitch the guy. You don't have to pitch to it. He's still going to pull the ball.
You know what? Teixeira is one of those guys. This is a bit surprising. I just think they're shifting way too much. I mean, we saw a game Major League Baseball did with Colin Cowgill with the Anaheim Angels against Tampa Bay. He had Grant Balfour on the mound, and the guy's only got a year or so in the big leagues, and a vacated hole, and Trout hits a walk-off home run right after.
The 2-2. And that hit Teixeira. You could hear it up here. So he'll take first.
Well, that's what you call a back foot slider. And I mentioned about Hamill having a very good slider. Watch the ball just keep breaking. Once a hitter puts his foot down, you can't get out of the way. You're literally frozen. Watch it now. Teixeira puts his foot down. That's a ball that's coming in on him. Looked like it grazed that little pad, which is a good thing. So look at the break. That's a great shot of that pitch.
So very interesting top of the first. Hamill's been hit once. Now he's hit a batter. First and second for the Yankees, and that'll bring up Brian McCann. Foul back. And the Cubs do not shift on McCann either, something that he's probably thrilled about. As the shortstop, Starlin Castro, actually on the shortstop side of the bag.
Really interesting. Of the two batters in the Yankee lineup, these are really the two major shift guys.
Yep. One and one.
Now, I also want to say this, Michael. Shifting, there's a shift going on. If you see our setup of the Cubs setup, you have the third baseman way off the line. Castro has shifted, but what designates an official shift is three infielders on one side of the diamond.
Gardner sees the ball in the dirt and heads to third.
Good heads up running. Gardner, 10 stolen bases. That was not one. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Was ball kick away? Does he advance on the pitch?
No, it's definitely a wild pitch.
Yeah, that's a wild pitch. Has not been caught stealing. Good heads up. Watch this, the curveball right here. That's the pitch has been getting McCann this early part of his Yankee career. He's only batting .071 against curveballs this season.
Count 3-1. Tonight's closed captioning brought to you by your local Lexus dealer.
Fastball count right here. Let's see if Jason Hamill gives him a fastball or stays off speed. Curveball. And I say that early in this game, Jason Hamill knows who he's facing. Masahiro Tanaka has been almost perfect. Well, he hasn't lost in a couple of years, and include Japanese baseball. So even though it's a first inning, and yes, the matchup is against the guy who's struggling. He's left-handed. You have Soriano on deck. You still have to pitch and not concede a run because potentially it could be a loss.
3-2. Driven to center field. Bonifacio is there. He'll put it away. And Hamill works out of a jam. No runs to hit. No errors and 2 men left. Yankees nothing. And the Cubs coming to bat. Warming up, we'll take a look at the Cubs starting lineup, which is brought to you by Shell. Cubs coming at 15 and 27. They lead off their center fielder, Emilio Bonifacio. The left fielder is Junior Lake. He'll bat second. Batting third, playing first base, Anthony Rizzo. Starlin Castro, the shortstop, will clean up. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Luis Valbuena. Nate Schierholtz in right field will bat sixth. The number 7 hitter, third baseman, Mike Olt. John Baker will catch. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching, Jason Hamill.
On the mound, Masahiro Tanaka. Boy, has he been a great pitcher for the Yankees and fun to watch. A 25-year-old right-hander. His numbers have been spectacular. What I love a lot, look at this, 66 strikeouts and 7 walks, 46 hits to 58 innings. Phenomenal. Let's take a look at the Yankees pitcher scout report, brought to you by Six Flags Great Adventure. Love that place. Save big on Six Flags Great Adventure tickets at sixflags.com. Splitty. We're going to talk about it. Split finger, 137 batting average against. He's unbeaten in 42 starts going back to his Nippon professional baseball days. And also pen saver, the only American League pitcher to make at least 8 starts and go at least 6 1/3 innings in those starts. Every coach, every manager and pitching coach loves that. And some of the guys down the pen, even though there was an off day yesterday, likes it too.
He will deal with Bonifacio. A .292 hitter with 8 runs batted in. Solardi in on the grass at third. Teixeira even with the bag at first. And the first pitch is a strike. Tanaka, the first Yankee rookie to go 6-0 since Whitey Ford went 9-0 in 1950. One and one. Tanaka was asked the other day, do you think the talent in the major leagues is better than the talent in the Japanese league? And he goes, yes, I wouldn't come here if I didn't think that. I wanted to test myself against the best. The 1-1.
Wow. Was that? Was he baited into that question?
No, he said it very matter-of-factly. He said, yeah, the talent is better. That's why I came here.
Yeah. Well, that's why you see some ex-big leaguers or big leaguers in the latter part of their career go over there, and some of them resurrect their career, come back for a couple years.
The 1-2. Still 1-2.
You know, while it's a small snippet, fair enough, the big league starter gets about 34 starts. You know, barring any kind of soreness or prolonged period of time where most pitchers anyway, you know, don't always feel 100%. You know, I think this is what we're going to see, Michael. Close to it. I mean, he's got 4 different weapons. The ball moves on both sides of the plate. He's got great command, and he pitches.
Ground ball to Roberts. 1 away. Let's check out the Yankee defense behind Tanaka. In the outfield, Gardner's in left, Ellsbury's in center, and Soriano in right. Infield, Solardi, Jeter, Roberts, and Teixeira. Behind the plate, Brian McCann with Tanaka on the mound. Interesting stat about Tanaka, Al, which I think shows you that he holds something in reserve. Runners on base with 2 outs. His fastball averages 2 miles per hour more than it does in situations where there's no one on base. So he holds a little something in reserve. Junior Lake shows bunt, pulls back, takes high.
You know, most pitchers, when you just cited that stat, I thought about Justin Verlander. You know, he's a guy that actually almost to a fault, you know, he throttles it too much early in the game because he truly wants to finish games. And sometimes you get burned early in the game. But most pitchers, Michael, will do that once you finally realize you don't have to be max effort in every pitch. And I think what is really special about Tanaka is that I think he's learned to pitch in the sense that while, yes, he has a good fastball, it's not a great fastball. We're not talking 95 to 100, which now in this day and age, we have to give that kudos to that because there's a lot of people throwing that mid to upper 90s. So he's pitching corners. You know, that 2-0 fastball there. He's cognizant of, hey, got a young hitter here in Junior Lake. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He is careless. Junior Lake is. Strikes out a lot, doesn't walk. But I think what I've really enjoyed watching is that in unpredictable counts, he's pitched and thrown any pitch, meaning the 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 count. He'll throw his split finger and use his 2 secondary pitches, slider, curveball. So it's really fun to watch. While everybody loves, I love 95 to 100. Those dominant. The Jose Fernandez unfortunately got hurt down there with the Miami Marlins.
Well, through his first 8 games, Tanaka has 66 strikeouts. Since 1900, only 4 have done better, starting with Herb Score with 77 for the Indians in 1955. Pretty impressive company.
Wow.
Strike 3. Lake down looking.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, Junior Lake, he can go back and complain there to Lance Barnett. Now, this is what I'm talking about, Michael. He got behind 3-0, token fastball, middle, didn't swing, high fastball, 3-1 count, 3-2. That is perfect. That's pitching. So one, his delivery, his timing and tempo puts himself in position to have that release point and then to make a perfect pitch. No, that's not outside.
Now here's Anthony Rizzo. Teams have been really shifting against him, and the Yankees, it's not 3 infielders on the left side. Twice in the last game he laid bunts down at third baseline and got hits. And he said, they're going to give me hits, I'll take the hits. And one time Starlin Castro followed with a home run. But the flip side is other teams said, listen, we can keep Anthony Rizzo in the ballpark, we'll give him a bunt single.
Well, I think the first bunt single that he had early in the game, I think it was the first inning against the Cardinals. There was 2 outs. And I think that's the moment, Anthony Rizzo, young players figuring out, who he is, 278 hitter. He's got definitely 25, 30 home run pop. But his second bunt, they were down by 4. And Starlin Castro comes up and hits a 2-run homer. I didn't mind that. If you're getting hits over there, nobody's playing on the left side of the infield. If nothing else, Michael, we're seeing it right now with what the Cubs are doing with not having drastic shift. We already saw it with Teixeira and McCann. Is that it'll change the way they defend you.
Swing and a miss. Good first inning for Tanaka as he strikes out 2. Leading off for the Yankees in the second, Alfonso Soriano. He had some very good years after signing a big-time free agent contract with the Cubs. He comes back with the Yankees for the first time. What will the reaction be like? he was introduced to the crowd. His ex-teammates love him. They revere him. They still talk with him almost every day and ask for advice, but he's a Yankee now, and he leads off the second. 1-0.
Well, there are certain guys that just get that label of just the good guy. You know, they're just out there, the Sean Caseys or the Jim Thomeys, where you just can't find someone to say a bad word about.
High fly ball, center field. Bonifacio makes the play.
Made that one quick, and he's one of them, Michael. They love him.
Yankees nothing and the Cubs nothing on the scoreboard, brought to you by Snyder's of Hanover. Taste how great a pretzel can be. Well, what's particularly galling to the Cubs fans is that the team doesn't have a high payroll, and Soriano was traded to the Yankees, and the Cubs paying $15 million of his salary this year. So they're watching him help them beat him twice in New York, and now here for 2 games in Chicago. Solarde tries to bunt and misses.
Well, that's true, but when you're in a situation as the Cubs are, and you are looking for any commodity that you can trade, and while you're paying for most of it, you hope you get something in return for the future.
And another big reason why they did it, they want to see what they had in Junior Lake, whether he's part of the future or not. If Soriano's here, he's going to play in left field all the time, and they would never be able to find out about Junior Lake.
Well, the Cubs got a good right-handed pitcher in Corey Black for Alfonso Soriano. I mean, Corey Black he'd register upwards of upper 90s, hit 100. Young pitcher, Double-A Tennessee for the Cubs.
The 1-2. Solarde swings and misses. Also, in this particular game, the Cubs organization as well as their fans have to look with some measure of envy at the Yankees. They were all in on Tanaka, Al. All in. And they fell $20 million short in the bidding. But they were serious players in that. And they went into last winter saying, we are going to hire Joe Girardi to be our manager. And they didn't care what the price was. And Brian Cashman was quoted today saying, they probably offered more money than we did. It became a lifestyle choice for Joe where he felt he belonged, and ended up staying with the Yankees. And this is the place where Joe saw his first big league game, broke into the big leagues, and he used to come here with his dad and his family. So it means something to him, but obviously he considers himself more a Yankee now than a Cub.
Yeah, he was. I had that very conversation with him around the batting cage, and kind of pointed out to where he sat with his father, which was behind the Cubs dugout. And reminisced. I mean, talked about how coming down from Northwestern and when he was in college and sitting in the bleachers, and a lot of fond memories here.
And Roberts swings and misses, and a 1-2-3 inning for Hamill. We are going to the bottom of the second. 0-0 here on My 9. get full clubhouse reaction and analysis. Then tomorrow afternoon, it's a midweek matinee here at Wrigley as the Yankees and the Cubs close out this quick 2-game set. Complete coverage starts at 1:30 only on Yes. Well, we go to the bottom of the second inning. Masahiro Tanaka on the mound. Let's take a look at the league leaders, brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture. Go online to mybobs.com. ERA leaders in the American League. Tanaka is 4th. Max Scherzer, 1.83 leads. He of the Detroit Tigers. Castro takes high.
How about Mark Burley on there?
Amazing. Snyder's of Hanover scoreboard, 0-0. He didn't have a great year last year, but boy, he rediscovered whatever made him really good with the White Sox. I think he was probably also ticked off last year. He signed with the Marlins, thought he was going to be there.
That's exactly right.
And then they end up trading him after 1 year, so probably didn't have his heart in it.
He'll give you 200 innings, doesn't throw hard, but wow, what a year so far. Helping that Blue Jay team.
Line drive right at Jeter. You know who else jumps out at me out? The number on the top, Max Scherzer. The guy received a lot of criticism for turning down about $150 million from the Tigers. And bet on himself and bet on his health. And boy, he's having a great start to the season where he will end up getting more money than that.
You know what? And I was critical of it. $144 million. You know, you're getting older and low 30s. Like, how much more is out there?
There might be more. Here's Luis Valbuena. That one is driven deep to right field. Soriano back on the track, looking up. It's off the ivy. Soriano will fire it in, and Valbuena has himself a double.
Well, that's a quick little hello right there from Luis Valbuena. Excuse me, right down the middle, little outer half. But I'll tell you, that's a little spot. If you're gonna hit, give up a long fly ball right on each of the respective lines. The ball, the outfield wall, the ivy goes out probably 20 feet from where it is in left center and right center. You see that little angle right there? That's probably about 15-ish.
Here's Nate Schierholtz. And there's a strike. Another strike. Schierholtz hitting 197 with 13 ribbies.
You know, and after a couple years ago setting career highs in hits and home runs, signs a one-year deal with the Cubs and hasn't been the same.
Dribbled slowly at the first baseline. Tanaka fields him on the way by, or tags him on the way by for the second out as Valbuena moves to third.
Well, once you get in a bad count as a hitter, that little split finger down and away. Tanaka getting to the ball quickly. Nice play, having to alleviate, don't have to shovel past the first base. Clearly tagging him.
Well, here's Mike Alt.
From UConn, Michael. All sorts of records there at University of Connecticut. All-time home run leader.
He's born in New Haven, and the Cubs had a little ceremony before the game to honor Derek Jeter, and Starlin Castro is the one who took part. And Alt was asked yesterday, because he grew up in Connecticut, would he want to do it? He said, no, I can't even believe I'm going to be on the same field as him. I grew up watching him play. There's no way I'd want to do it. I wouldn't know what to say. As he swings and misses on a splitter. And Tanaka survives the double. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. We're going to the third. There's nothing on my 9. All about food, we're all about savings, we're all about you. On this date, 1948, Joe DiMaggio hits for the cycle, helping the Yankees defeat the White Sox 13-2 in Chicago. So 66 years ago, Joe was in this very city, hitting for the cycle. Full house here at Wrigley as Masahiro Tanaka digs in to start up the third. He has 1 hit and 7 at-bats. And a strike. Another strike. Let's take a look at his lone major league hit. This was last week.
Admitting that he's not much of a hitter, but look at that. Right up the middle, base hit. First big league hit. Derek got the ball. I think back-to-back starting pitchers. Didn't Chase Whitley also get a hit?
In his first at bat. And he is a good hitter as Tanaka goes down swinging. So Hamill, who got hit on the pitching hand on a comebacker by Brett Gardner starting the game, has settled down.
Well, he's going to be a nice pickup for a contending team come July 31st.
3 straight strikeouts for Hamill on 10 pitches. American League teams so far this year in interleague play in National League ballparks, 19-20. So under 500. Could that be because there's no DH? Now, National League teams will tell you, well, we're at a disadvantage in American League ballparks because we really don't have a prototypical DH on our roster. So the American League puts in a slugger, and the National League manager has to take somebody off his bench.
Oh, I think absolutely American League is at a disadvantage.
Popped up. Going to be a tough play. Castro on the run makes the play.
You could find a hitter to insert to be, not hit for the pitcher. Many of the American League teams, your DH is an integral part of the middle of your lineup. And Now you got to figure out, well, take for instance David Ortiz with the Red Sox. You know, what do you do? Put him at first, liability?
Derek laid down a beautiful bunt. He was given a sacrifice, although he was clearly bunting for a hit in the first inning. A great play by Mike Olt just to nab him at first base. Bang, bang play at first. Line drive, and it slices foul.
Derek has always been an early fastball, hunt early fastballs and swing. But now, especially this year, his early fastball numbers are night and day from when he gets deeper into the count.
Night and day bad or night and day good?
Night and day bad. You know, he sees early in the count about 75%. Well, 75% of all the pitches he's seen are fastballs.
The 0-2.
And historically, Michael, Derek is a better early in the count 0-0, 0-1, 1-0. Usually fastball hitting right center field. And then as he gets deeper into the count, his batting average goes down.
Line drive to right field. That is a base hit in front of Shearholtz. So Jeter with a 2-out single.
It's great hitting right here. As I say, deeper into the count, his batting average goes down, and this is nice hitting. It's a curveball middle of the plate, but that's nice hitting. Look at how short his follow-through swing right here. Inside out, but he just kind of poked it. Not trying to do too much. Excellent. I know there's 2 outs. Let's see if Ellsbury give me a chance right here, Michael. So 391 batting average when Derek Jeter's first few pitches, either 0-0, 1-0, or 0-1 counts. After that, on all other counts, he's batting 204 as he gets deeper into the count. Product of 2 strikes. You know, pitchers obviously in pitcher counts, they can expand. That's the whole point of this game. If you got a pitcher on the mound with good stuff and he makes pitches, it's tough to hit.
Jeter goes. There's a strike. Throw to second. Boy, did Jeter get a jump. Stolen base for Derek Jeter.
Huge jump right here. I don't know, with 2 outs, a big leg kick from Jason Hamill. No chance of John Baker. I know Derek Jeter's getting older, but he saw big leg kick, not much of a lead, and just took off. And it wasn't a big lead that they had. Just the timing perfect when Jason Hamill lifted his leg. Go. If you have a right-handed pitcher that gives a kind of a 1-6, 1-7 home plate, it's almost impossible for a catcher to throw you out.
Derek's last stolen base September 5th of 2012, and that shouldn't be alarming. He didn't play that much last year. Big lightning bolt through the sky here at Wrigley, so the crowd oohs and ahs, and we told you there with thunderstorms in the forecast. Such extreme heat. 3-4 days ago, Al, it snowed here. It was about 30 degrees, and today it's well over 80, and there you see lighting up the sky. The 0-2. Bad hack there by Ellsbury as he goes down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Go to the bottom of the 3rd. 0-0 on my 9. $2.99 is brought to you in part by your local Lexus dealer. By McDonald's. This summer at McDonald's, come in for the kid-approved $2.99 Happy Meal. Offer only at participating McDonald's. And by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. We go to the bottom of the third inning. John Baker will lead off. Cubs have one hit against Tanaka. The Yankees 2 against Hamill. And it is starting to rain here at Wrigley. Baker wraps one to right field. And it's going to be over the head of Soriano. He plays the carom. Baker slides and falls down around first, and he stops there with a single.
Well, John Baker getting a fastball right down the middle. Off the wall. Soriano makes a nice play, but watch him here slip right there. I don't know if he goes. Would have been a nice little carom for Soriano. Makes a nice play. Holds him to a single. The fall holds him to a single for sure.
Well, with a runner on first, that means Hamill will be bunting. Already squared. And he bunts in front of the plate. McCann gets Hamill. Moving to second is Baker. So you score that 2-4 on the sacrifice.
National League Baseball.
Here's Emilio Bonifacio. Crowd moving back for cover. Hoping this rain cools things down here in Chicago. That one's bounced up there. Now, Rick Renteria, the manager of the Cubs, said, well, we've seen him once, he meaning Tanaka, and we know that we've got to lay off the splitter, although that's easier said than done. And also, the splitter is a pitch that most people think he bounces up there. He could throw it for a strike, too, and it's very, very hard to identify. So easier said, well, we should lay out the splitter, because you don't even know it's a splitter until all of a sudden it drops. 1-0. Grounded foul. Well, as we move along here in the bottom of the third, we'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard on the bottom of your screen. It's brought to you by JetBlue, you above all.
I hear what you said, or what Rick Renteria said. Second time around, they had 2 bunt singles in 8 innings back on April 16th when Tanaka pitched against him. Michael, a couple things that really glare out. He's got swing and miss stuff. There's no doubt about it. 66 strikeouts, impressive. Only 7 walks. That strikeout to walk ratio is 5th best in the American League. The batting average against is low. He's got a lot of weapons. What I would think is that you'd have to eliminate a pitch and sit on a certain pitch, whether it's a split finger or whatever it is.
That one gets through the legs of McCann as Baker will go to third.
Right through the 5-hole right there. Brian McCann just didn't get the glove down. Could be costly. With the 1 out, a big 90-foot gain by the Cubs. You see there, skipped off the plate, and it had that split spin to it.
That's a tough pass ball for him.
It is. With the rain now, it's raining pretty good. They called it a wild pitch, Michael.
Really? You sure?
Well,
oh, they changed it to a wild pitch?
According to Ethan behind me.
They did. Okay, they changed it. First one was a pass ball. Wild pitch is the right call. Yankees bring the infield in. There's a base hit up the middle. Bonifacio with an RBI single. Baker scores, and the Cubs have a 1-0 lead.
Watch here. Tanaka. Bonifacio's done a nice job. You talk about a nice job he's done. Middle of the plate up. That is a bad location on his go-to pitch. You got a runner at third base now. A little different. And you don't know, as a pitcher, you're supposed to have all the confidence in the world that your catcher will block anything. That split finger designed, especially with 2 strikes. Look at the middle here. That is center cut up in the zone. Bonifacio, perfect eye contact hitter. 1-0 Cubs.
Here's Junior Lake. 3 infielders on the left side for Lake. Keeping Bonifacio close.
Bonifacio, 11 stolen bases, been caught stealing 3 times.
Well, this rain has certainly cleared out all the rooftop seats. Everybody's gone indoors. Kind of slapped that one after scoring the bunt for a foul ball.
But you see what's happening here. I mean, it's clear that even Junior Lake now, there's a major shift with Brian Roberts on the left side of the diamond, and that's what that is, folks. It's not, some kind of new cricket swing from Australia. You see this right here, you're saying, okay, well, let me do what Anthony Rizzo's others are trying to do.
I'm just amazed that they have that much information on Junior Lake to shift on him this way. Hasn't been around that long. Tried to go the other way again, and Teixeira will step on the bag for the second out. Moving to second is Bonifacio.
Well, this is split finger, and he was trying to go that way, and that's it. Slipped out of the box there. This wet surface here at Wrigley Field. Watch this here. This is split finger that just keeps boring in on his hands. Junior Lake, from the look of his approach, is trying to shoot that hole to the right side. Just got too much movement from Tanaka. Nubs it to Teixeira.
Well, here's Anthony Rizzo. And the count 1-0. Rizzo struck out in the first inning. Still coming down pretty hard. That got a big part of McCann. As Larry Barrett will walk out Lance Barrett will walk the ball out to home plate, the pitcher's mound, and give him time.
Well, let's see here. Ooh, yeah, and the right inseam. They got the shin guards, but there's always a spot or two that's not protected.
That's an ugly looking sky. A lot of different colors that you don't see together. Count 2-1.
Some of the indices or barometers for shifts, Michael. Clubs will take the last 100 ground balls. So I know Junior Lake, he's been in the big leagues last year and this year. So take 100 ground balls, and if it's at 90%, 9 out of 10 balls to the one side, that's basically kind of the rule of thumb for the barometer as to whether you do a major shift or not. Different clubs are different. I heard 83, 85%. Somewhere in the high 80s to 90% of ground balls on either side of the infield. And then there's your percentage. Look, if he's getting 8.5 out of 10 ground balls to either side of the infield, whatever it is, respectively, we'll shift him. And you could book the Yankees, Joe Girardi, and all of their research that they have the information to say, yeah, Junior Lake pulls the ball.
So a 3-2 count on Rizzo with a runner on second, 1 run already in. Now Joe Girardi is going to come out. I'm sorry, that's Larry Rothschild coming out with the translator to talk with Masahiro Tanaka.
This may be a mound issue. I think that's why Dana DeMuth from first base umpires, the crew chief, came running over. Yeah, I'm sure Larry Rothschild saw some slipping on the landing foot usually, and this is where there's the danger or the possibility of arm injury. If there is a little slide when a pitcher lands and there's movement, it doesn't grip. Let's see if we can see this on this replay. Yeah, I didn't see him slide there, but I think maybe just the wetness, and that's another thing. You get some of this clay around baseball, depending upon what they use, your cleats get real heavy. Yeah, there it is right there. So you can't get the clay out. So now you put the little diamond dry on, and it's helpful. And that's good. I like that. Larry Rothschild coming out on for Tanaka. Most pitchers, and I was one of them, I wouldn't have called timeout for this little housekeeping situation. Most guys would deal with it, and then after the inning, you go in and get all the mud out.
And also smart to bring out Shingo Hori, who is the translator for Tanaka. You don't want anything lost in translation. Make sure. And he still has mud cake there. Runner at second, 2 outs, 3-2 on Rizzo. And he walked him. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Yankees.com for details.
There you see it. So you got the metal spikes, and it's basically just an inch of gook that's not really enabling your feet to be grounded.
Here's Castro lined out to Jeter his first time up. 1-0. One streak of light blue in the sky over left field, but the gloomy dark clouds are winning out. Looks like a portal into something.
It's pretty cool.
One. 2-1. Starlin Castro, one of the stars of this young Cub team. Signed in 2006, amateur free agent, made his debut in 2010, had 6 ribbies in his debut, not too bad, that's a major league record. In 2011, he had 207 hits, youngest player to lead the National League. He was 21 when he led them in hits, and a 2-time All-Star. So they're building this team around guys like Starlin Castro.
Who's turned it around this year. I mentioned about his first 3 years, very good, 297 hitter from 2010 through 2012. And then last year, Michael, down to 251. And, any young player, let's face it, he was 24 years old, has been in the league now for a few years, signs a 7-year deal. There was some maturity issues. Remember the one game where his back was turned to home plate and a pitch was thrown, actually. very nice player and just really growing up, becoming that mature star player. He is their star.
2-2. Really making Tanaka work. His first 2 innings, he threw 25 pitches. And here in this 3rd inning, now 21 pitches. Bonifacio on second, Rizzo on first, 2 men out, 1 run in. So it's 1-0 Cubs, bottom of the 3rd inning. And the 2-2. Up the middle, grounded to Roberts. He'll get Castro, and that will do it. 1 run. 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We've played 3. It's 1-0 Cubs. A trivia question. The Toyota Time Sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Who's the only player in Major League Baseball to hit more home runs than Mickey Mantle in 1958, 1960? In 58, Mickey hit 42, and in 60, he hit 40. Mark Teixeira leads off, and he fouls it off. Now they shift for Teixeira, 3 infielders on the right side. It continues to rain here at Wrigley Field. The 0-1. 0-2. Before 1988, this game would not have been possible because they would have been playing in darkness, but they put lights in 1988. A big deal was made of it. It's smack dab this ballpark in the middle of the neighborhood, and many people didn't want the lights. They liked the tradition of no lights. But the okay was given as long as there's a limited amount of games. Now that's been expanded. An interesting story, though, is they actually had lights at Wrigley Field in 1941. And they were going to install it. They were delivered to Wrigley Field. Then when Pearl Harbor happened, Philip Wrigley, the owner of the Cubs, donated the lights that were in storage to the war effort. And then they never put them in or never ordered them again and never thought about it again until 1988.
Wow.
The 3-2.
Well, now the big story is the Ricketts family bought the Cubs from the Tribune Company, and they got recent approval because they're going to renovate Wrigley Field of two big scoreboards, electronic scoreboards, and that's not to the liking of those folks on the outside of this stadium with all those neat little venues they have out there.
They want to have a huge modern video board, which makes teams money because you could put advertising on that as well. There's no video replays here, and you don't realize it until you sit in the stands. And I did that once, and you look up to see a replay, and the only scoreboard really is the one out in center field with the scores, and then they did add one down the right field line with averages of the players. But they want to have a big video scoreboard. He could not hold up. He goes down on strikes. And you're also right, Al, about the rooftop seats. Those people are in agreement with the Cubs ownership. They give them 17 to 18% of the money they make, but they're getting the product for free. They don't have to pay the players.
Right.
So the Ricketts family is saying, listen, if the scoreboard blocks it, it blocks it. So they're trying to make everything work, and not sure if it can happen. And it certainly held up the renovation. This place, as beautiful as it is and as much of Americana as it is, needs sprucing up.
Yeah. You know what? And I shared that sentiment during batting practice. When you get out on the field and you just see the beauty of this 100-year-old place, it's just special. It brings you back in time. But the behind the scenes, yeah, it needs updating. And the clubhouse is not one of the favorites of the players, and just the infrastructure itself. The story I read, Michael, those little places on the outside there, what do you call them? The
rooftops.
Rooftops,
yep,
on Sheffield and Waveland, generates about $3 million for the Cubs.
High fly ball, left field. McCann is retired, and that sounds like a lot, right?
Well,
but the video boards could generate so much more revenue.
Well, this story, I think it was in the Tribune, the video boards would generate, their guesstimate is $20 million. Yeah, I guess, that's, it's a starting pitcher and a left fielder.
Here's Soriano. Fly ball to fairly deep center in the second. Outside. Now, Soriano could not be traded from the Cubs without his permission. In fact, the year before he got traded to the Yankees, they worked out a trade with the Giants, and he would have been going to a team that was going to the playoffs, and he vetoed the deal. But when he heard about the Yankees last year, he just automatically said, yes, I'll go. Never wanted to leave the Yankees, left the Yankees in the trade that got them Alex Rodriguez. They sent Soriano to the Texas Rangers. Two and one.
Well, what you just described is called a 5 and 10 player. 10 years, at least 10 years in the big leagues, 5 years consecutive with a particular club, and you have no trade veto power.
The 2-1. 2-2.
That was that nasty slider, Michael. Like I said at the Open, what Jason Hamill features into tonight, it's a 107 batting average against. Throws it about 30% of the time. Almost looks like a curveball to 83 miles an hour.
Soriano had good numbers with both teams last year. In 93 games with the Cubs, 17 homers, 51 ribbies. In 58 with the Yankees, 17 homers and 50 ribbies. Popped up, long run for Rizzo. He runs out of room.
I mean, the job that he did when he came over and how happy he really was to be back where it all started for him with the Yankees. But from that, since that trade on July 26th, Soriano had 23 home runs. Only Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins had more home runs in the major leagues in that time period. He had 25. Soriano had 23.
The 3-2. Foul back. This will be the 8th pitch to Soriano. He also had an 8th pitch at bat against Teixeira. And the 3-2. High fly ball. Shallow center. Coming on is Bonifacio. And that will do it. 20-pitch inning for Hamill. Wrigley Field opened up in 1914. You can't say there have been many great moments here because they've never won a World Series, but it is an integral part of Chicago. We'll take a look at the answer to the Toyota trivia question. Who is the only player in Major League Baseball to hit more home runs than Mickey Mantle in 58 and 60? And the answer is Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. 47 and 58, 41 and 60. Derek Jeter spent about 20 minutes talking with Ernie Banks on the Yankee bench before the game.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Let's play 2.
19 big league seasons, all with the Cubs. 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Stars, 1960 Gold Glove winner. Finished with 512 home runs. Balbuena lines one down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases. Playing it out there is Gardner. And a leadoff double for Balbuena. He's 2 for 2 against Tanaka with 2 doubles.
Well, he got a first pitch fastball in his first at bat going to right field, hitting his first double. Now he gets a hanging curveball. This is a hanger. Foot goes down. It's up in the zone. Stays inside the baseball. Drives it to left field. Nice job of hitting. Looks more of a base hit line drive, left center, right center approach.
Well, he has 27 hits this year. 10 of them have been doubles for Balbuena. Here's Nate Schierholtz. You know, coming into this series, Al did a lot of reading on Wrigley Field. It's really has a fascinating history, and we keep saying that it opened in 1914, so they're having, you know, the century celebration. And what the Cubs are doing, because the team is so bad, they're selling the ballpark more than they are the team. Because they keep talking about the team in the future, the players that are coming, the players that are here are not going to win. The Cubs know it, the fans know it. But strangely, the team moved in to Wrigley Field 2 years after it opened. It was originally called Weedman Park. And the Chicago Whales of the Federal League actually played there. Then the Federal League closed, and Weedman, along with a consortium of other owners, including Wrigley, bought the Cubs and moved them here. Chopped to second. And Balbuena moves to third. In April, they celebrated the birthday of the ballpark. A festive day. They asked back a lot of former Cubs. Gale Sayers. Some big people in Chicago sports. People in the history of the Cubs as well. And it was a grand old celebration, again, about the ballpark and not the team. Mike Olt digs in as the Yankees bring the infield in with a runner on third and one out. And there's a strike. In 1918, wow, what a lightning strike in left field, and the crowd oohing and eyeing. If Phil Rizzuto was in this booth right now, he would not be in this booth. Wow, what a lightning bolt, the 0-1. Line drive, past Jeter and into left field. A base hit for Olt. Valbuena scores, and it's 2-0 Cubs.
Well, little small ball here by the Cubs. Nate Scherholz did his job by moving Valbuena to third base. Wouldn't have mattered. Base hit, well, infield back, it would have mattered. Infield in to try to preserve this run. Hanging slider up in the zone. Tanaka tonight, I've seen more pitches up in the zone in his now 9 starts than I've seen in his previous 8. He's had several balls up in the zone.
John Baker outside. 1-0.
4 of the 5 hits, Michael, off of Tanaka, the Cubs hits, have come on the first or second pitch. Not letting him get to that split finger or 2 strike where it becomes very unpredictable what he's going to throw.
You know, we've seen that a lot. All of the damage done against him pitches up in the zone. And McCann's going to catch on to this, and obviously he probably has by now. He's going to have to start people off with splitters. I mean, if you're going to work the fastball to get ahead in the count, just so you can get to the splitter, they're going to jump on the fastball and hurt you. It's just how you arrange those pitches.
Well, here, if that was a great shot that we just had as you were talking. McCann came down, gave him the pump, what looked like a split finger. It was either 5 or wiggle 4. Tanaka shook, went to the 1, and then threw a high fastball. So, you know, not on the same page. You know, McCann, as good as any major league pitcher, that should be a fastball. Usually a wiggle 1 is usually a 2-seamer, which should run away from the lefty. Yeah, there you go. So, you know, there is a bit of a struggle, and I think part of it, there's no doubt about it, as good as Tanaka's been and will be, you know, the games where you're not feeling, I hate using it, Michael, but 100%, generally speaking, means you're going to elevate. So that's when you back off. Another fastball here. It should be a running fastball away from John Baker.
Count 3-2.
A little more deliberate, you think? Slower around, just pacing. But you know, that's also comes with it. You know, where if you don't feel comfortable and you know that you've left balls up, and he's been almost perfect. Well, shutting out the Mets in his last start, and even the start against the Cubs, his 3rd start of the year, 10 strikeouts.
(3-2). Baker skies one to left center. Ellsbury will play it off the base of the wall. Mike Olt will stop at third. It's a double for Baker. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out for the Cubs here in the 4th.
John Baker batting not much off the interstate. Oh, see a split. He went fastball away. 2-0 fastball. Got it back into the count. Baker fouled off a fastball that was up, and then this split again up enough. Didn't have that same tumble effect, but what's he doing? He's been behind in the count. You see Ellsbury making a run for it. 368, just hitting the base of the wall. He checked up. This is another one of those walls here, Michael. I know it has ivy, but it's brick behind it.
Infield is in for the pitcher, Jason Hamill. And he bunts, and here comes the runner. Shovel to McCann, and the out is made. Olt came when the bunt got down. It was not a suicide. It was a safety, which doesn't make sense why he would take off. But he is out for the second out.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. Now watch Alt down the line. He sees as soon as it is bunted down, he's going. Now there's on contact bunt, Michael, where it's not a suicide, where if it's suicide, he's cutting right away. He's reading, make sure it's not popped up and go. However, he bunts it straight back to Tanaka. Nice little shovel pass by Tanaka. If that's either a slightly down the left field line or third base line or first base line, may have been a different story.
They call that a safety squeeze, so you have to get the bunt down before you take off from third. A suicide, he just takes off and hopes that the bunt gets put down, and you have a better chance of scoring, obviously, on that same bunt. Here's Bonifacio, first and third, 2 outs. And he bunts. It's a beauty. Tanaka flips to home, and he bailed him out. Baker bailed him out. He could not have gotten the runner at first base. He took off from third. That's the only out that Tanaka had. So how often do you see that? The final 2 outs of the inning made at home plate. Barehand flips, and McCann applies the tag as we go to the 5th. Great defensive play by Tanaka and McCann. Take on the Twins. The first 18,000 guests 14 and younger are going to receive a set of Yankee ice cream bowls courtesy of Turkey Hill. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
But the way this inning ends, we saw the Jason Hamill bunt, safety squeeze, and then Emilio Bonifacio, great bunt. And as Michael said, I believe if he did go to first, had Baker not broke on the play, I think he would have been safe, bases loaded. That was his only play, a nice play. 2 back-to-back plays Tanaka made. Good job.
Continuing to rain here at Wrigley Field now. Thunder is accompanying the lightning. As we start the top of the 5th inning, here is Yangervis Solarte on the BMW scoreboard, 2-0 Cubs. And there's a strike. Not often do you write in your scorebook 2 straight 1-2s for the putouts, and that's what it was, as Tanaka made 2 good plays, one with the glove and one bare hand. And Solarte swings and misses. He struck out twice now against Hamill. Used to keep score at the game, Al?
I did. You know what? That is I remember early on watching baseball. Great way to watch and also learn. And even a better way if you're sitting there with an adult, mom, dad, whomever.
It does keep you engaged because you can't have your mind wander. You have to keep score of everything that's going on. Here's Brian Roberts. And a strike from Hamill.
The only sport, right? What sport can you keep score like that?
Not really. I mean, you can sketch other stuff and write down when somebody scores a basket in basketball, but there's really no scorebook, so to speak, that they sell in the concession stands. I used to even keep score watching the games on TV sometimes.
At home?
Yeah. Yep. Two.
Seriously, at home, watching on TV.
Yeah, if I thought it was a big game, I was like 10 years old. I sat there and kept score.
And here you are, keeping score.
Nothing's changed. Two. Popped up. Rizzo. Neither makes the play. Or Valbuena.
Well, once the ball continued to drift down the right field line, the second baseman has a better angle. Generally speaking, more athletic. Luis Valbuena, obviously we couldn't hear from here. I don't know if he was calling off Rizzo or not. When he looks down, but now he starts drifting back. That second baseman's got to yell. It's a second baseman's ball. Watch here, it drifts. Now the second look right there. And just typical, you got it, I'll take it.
2-2. Lace to left field. Lake for the second out.
Well, right now, Michael, Jason Hamill is doing a nice job, changing speeds, being aggressive. He's getting ahead in many of these at-bats against the Yankees, and his slider is very good. Sprinkling in a changeup. 3-pitch pitcher right now. And not only is it 93-ish, but it's got late movement. In on the righty, away on the lefty.
Tanaka takes a strike. Good numbers against the Yankees last year. And Tanaka hits a fly ball to shallow right. Shearholtz comes on. He'll make the play. And Hamill has retired 7 in a row. It's an official game. We're through 4.5. Halfway through, it's 2-0 Cubs. scoreboard, visit us at tristatebmw.com. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. At Wrigley Field, the Cubs have scored 1 in the third and 1 in the fourth. They'll send up 2, 3, and 4 in the order against Masahiro Tanaka, Junior Lake, Anthony Rizzo, and Starlin Castro. Rain continuing to fall here in Chicago. Lake struck out looking and grounded to first. Foul back, 0-1. Do you like pitching here or not, Al?
You know, one game I did, and I just one that stands out. I was with the Mets, and it was a good one, and it was fun. I just thought pitching here, especially day games.
Good mound?
Yeah, just everything about it. The backdrop, the brick in the back, and just the sight line. You know, if the wind was blowing out, you definitely were not happy about that as a pitcher. And just the fans are right on top of you. It's just a good feel.
You were 2-4 here in 7 starts. That doesn't sound good, but you had a 3.07 ERA, which is good.
I was pitching for the Mets.
1-2. Lake swings and misses.
No, I'm kidding. I had a great time. No, there was a game in, I believe it was 1999, right in the heyday of Sammy Sosa. They were good. And I pitched 7 innings. I struck out 15 guys. And that was, you know, it was a good day. I remember good curveball. And Moises Alou, and I mentioned Sammy Sosa. Just a good lineup.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. Struck out and walked. 1-0. August 1st, 1999. 15 strikeouts in 7 innings for Al Leiter. Hammered foul. And you threw, how many pitches do you think you threw?
I'm going to say, let's see, 15 Ks. You figure at least 4 or 5, right? Oh, but I had to be at least 130.
135.
135. Bobby V, I loved him, man. He kept me in there. I told him, I said, they're not going to get me in the first couple innings, keep me in. I was one that got better as the game went along.
Right into the hands of Rizzo.
Right in the hands. Did it hit him in the leg? Wow.
Now the swing supersedes the hit by pitch, so he stays at the plate.
Sure. The thing closest I ever saw to that was Don Slaught with the Yankees in Texas squared the bunt. I forget who was on the mound. I think it was Dale Mahorsic, and he threw a fastball. He missed it, but he kept his bunt, his bat out there, and hit him right in the chest. Counted as a strike.
Wow. Now Girardi's talking with Lance Barrett. Now he's saying it was 1-2 when Rizzo swung, so he should be out there on strikes.
Yeah,
now you can actually challenge this. You can challenge the count. Let's see if Joe does that.
What? I had 1-2.
Well, they're going to challenge the count now. They will check. Calling over Dana DeMute, the crew chief.
Yeah, it was a 1-2 count. The first one was a ball, it was a high fastball, and then the next 2 were strikes, and then he got hit with that pitch.
Well, they're going to call to talk to the umpires back in New York City, and they'll go over the pitch sequence. And if it was 1 and 2, he'll be out on strikes. Now, I don't know why Rick Renteria has a word to say about this if it's a challenge.
He's swung, and that's, as you said, Michael, that supersedes the hit by pitch.
We put it together. Let's see. Here's the pitch by pitch out.
All right, first pitch, I think it was a high fastball. Yeah. And then he came back with another cutter in on his hands. Paint down and away. There's your 1-2 count. And now here comes a slider. That's why McCann ran after the ball. Because Rizzo should have run.
So they will see what we just saw.
You know, normally if this is what they're doing, I am really surprised that there wasn't another umpire. Normally they have clickers just for this very reason. Power goes out, or the home plate umpire, doesn't have the right balls and strikes. Usually there's another umpire on the field that's also going along with the count.
Well, we're hearing that the Yankees are challenging that it was a foul ball. So they're going to look to see if it was a foul ball. It was called a foul ball by the umpire, and the Yankees are saying it was not a foul ball. And the Yankees, I think, would be correct.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So they're foul ball. Now, what's interesting is there wasn't a play. So now this is at the discretion of the umpire, right? So
well, Rizzo stood at the plate, and McCann did scurry after the ball, so he would have had to play it first. But that's something that the umpires have to decide. Well, it looks like they're done, and let's see what the call is.
Call them safe.
Now, Major League Baseball just said it was not a challenge because it's not reviewable. So Joe just asked them, could you look at that? And somehow they did not see a foul ball out because Rizzo's still up. Or they did not see a swing and miss.
Well, no, I think that's what is superseding here, Michael. That is not
so
a
Major League
review.
Baseball said you can't look at that. You can look at the pitch count, but you can't look at a foul ball or a foul tip. Got it. So that's not even reviewable, so they just wasted their time going over there.
Well, and that also says, this is a learning curve because the umpiring crew should have told Joe it's not reviewable. It's moot now.
The umpiring crew must have thought it was reviewable to go over and check out the review. So they went to the headsets. Again, you can review pitch count. Okay, that was a two-strike pitch, and they could go over that. You cannot review a foul ball. Here's Starlin Castro. And there's a strike. You know what's weird about that, Al? It's not reviewable, okay? So they went over and they actually looked and they saw that it was not a foul ball. But just because it's not reviewable, I thought the whole thing about replay was to get it right. So since they're looking at it, no, it wasn't a foul ball. It should have been a strikeout. Shouldn't they say, oh, by the way, it's a strikeout, you're out?
Yeah, right. But they shouldn't have been over there. And I guess then it would be deemed it wasn't reviewable. And if you're Rick Renteria and the Cubs, you'd come out and say they weren't allowed to review that in the first place. So the original call should have stayed.
And it did. And he ended up striking out at him. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nice bounce back inning by Tanaka. Strikes out the side. We have played 5 here in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. It's 2-0 Cubs. International Major League Baseball expansion team? Would it be A, the Dominican Republic, Japan, B, C, Puerto Rico, or United Kingdom, D? Text A, B, C, or D to 70377 or go to my9nj.com. Find out the results later in the game wrap-up. It's What's Your Take, brought to you by Jeep. Spring into summer event going on now. Here's Brett Gardner, pitch inside. You know, we have a big booklet, things that are reviewable, things that are not, and you can review fair or foul. A fair or foul ball.
In the
down
outfield.
The lines, right?
No, in the
right.
outfield.
So you can't. So they're saying that that's in the infield, and you can't review that.
Right. Balls and strikes, check swings, fair or foul in the infield, and infield flies are a few that are not reviewable.
So you can review hit by pitch, and this kind of makes this a gray area. All right, was he hit by that pitch, or was it a foul ball? So if you're saying I'm challenging the hit by pitch,
right,
but it wasn't called a hit by pitch on the field, so they couldn't challenge that. So essentially what the umpire said, Joe, you're right, but it's not challenged, so we have to keep the call.
See, every single day you come out to a baseball game. Right, Joe.
It's May 20th, and we still...
Well, no, look, you have the crew chief, Dana DeMuth. He should have just immediately said it wasn't reviewable.
Gardner hits one down the left field line. It's a base hit. It's going to be extra bases. Into the corner is Lake. And Gardner picks up his second hit of the night, a leadoff double.
Let's take a look here. Brett Gardner holds his hands in. The ball leaked out middle of the plate, but nice job. Not trying to do a whole lot. Drive that ball left field for pick up a double. Nice way to start this inning.
Here's Derek Jeter. He's 1 for 1. He had a sac bunt in the first inning. Then he singled to right and stole a bag in the third. Yankees looking to break through against Hamill. Alt is in on the grass at third. Fouled away.
Derek swinging early in the count. Jason Hamill, veteran pitcher, going to make him work to get the ball to the right side. Speedy runner and Brett Gardner. Derek does it so well to go to right center field with the line drive.
Fights it the other way, and it's fouled away.
And that's exactly what he's trying to do, which is what you try to do in this situation in a tight ball game. Nobody out. Yankees are down 2-zip. Latter part of the game, Jason Hamill doing a nice job. This is called body line, folks. That ball is coming in on his hands. You see Derek just trying to fight it off. Do anything to push it to the right side. It's just tardy.
Nice play by the kid. Did he go? No, he did not, said Dana DeMuth.
Coming in again. Watch here. Derek holding up. His body went. Hands didn't. Barrel back. I think it's a good call. Three in a row. Fastball's in. Let's see. He's got that wipeout slider away. Derek just short, quick stroke, thinking up the middle, right field. Here, this ball's going to be away.
Missed away.
It's a good pitch right there. Tough to take. Watch this here. After three fastballs in a row, slider, the bread and butter for Jason Hamill. Just off the plate a little. You could see John Baker pulling the glove up a little. Good call by Lance Barnett.
Another check swing. Again, he did not go. Left-hander James Russell warming for the Cubs in their bullpen. And again, Jeter held. Hey.
bat right here. Derek Jeter, just quality bat. Have an approach now, 2-strike approach. Well, 2-strike, you got 3-2 count, so Hamill doesn't want to walk him. Which is where good hitters capitalize on mistakes for pitchers.
Grounded up the middle. Castro's there. He'll get Jeter. Moving to third is Gardner. The world is changing, and so is your news. Every weeknight, the chase is on across the state for the biggest headlines and most unique stories on Chasing New Jersey. No teleprompters, no anchor desk, just real people chasing real stories. Chasing New Jersey. Weeknights at 10 p.m. and tonight after the game on My 9. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. The Yankees 3 through 9 hitters in their lineup so far tonight. 0 for 13. The only base runner of that group, Mark Teixeira, was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Gardner is at third. Cubs in at the corners, back at second and short. Foul back. So Ellsbury's 0 for 2 tonight. He's 1 for his last 21. Now Justin Grimm joins Russell. The rain has stopped here at Wrigley. The 0-1. 1-1. One pitch. That one is looped into left field, and Castro makes the play, saves a run. Castro covering a lot of ground. Took a hit away from Ellsbury, a run away from the Yanks.
Boy, you said it, Michael. We had a great vantage point from where we're sitting. Castro went a long way. I thought this ball was slicing away. Look where he's playing. Slight pull. Ball's peeling away out toward left field, and that is a full sprint. Get after it. Nice play by Starlin Castro. You see Ellsbury watching, hoping. Been struggling of late. Batting average down 278. And then there's the flip side. Jason Hamill did a little cheer for his shortstop.
Ellsbury has not had an RBI since May 3rd. Here's Mark Teixeira, hit by a pitch and struck out. Runner at third now. 2 outs. Hamill deals. 1-0.
Boy, when you just said that, Ellsbury not having an RBI since May 3rd. You know, when you get off to a good start, new team, it's always imperative for new players to just feel comfortable right away. That was kind of a wow stat, Michael. I mean, you know, you're thinking of Ellsbury's. He's in a slump right now.
And the interesting thing is he got off to a great start. He's hitting .330.
Which is my point. I mean, you know, we're viewing him as that player. And I believe every reason he's going to turn it around. And for the Yankees' sake, quickly.
Teixeira's done a good job with runners in scoring position. Line drive into right center field. It is a base hit. Gardner scores. Teixeira picks up his 23rd ribby, and the Yankees are on the board. Cubs lead 2-1.
Well, that's a big 2-out hit. You just, no matter how you slice it, 2 outs, runner at third base, you got to get the big hit. Pitchers know that. Mistake middle of the plate against one of the hotter hitters in the Yankee lineup. You throw in Solarte as well. But Teixeira has been, you talk about on fire. Ellsbury has been cold.
And that's Rick Renteria. He's going nose to nose, bill to bill. I think that I read his lips when he came out, and he was barking. He said, I'm not going to take you out. But it seemed like a pick-me-up sort of conversation. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Well, let's take a look here. Rick Renteria just right up to him. Wow. Well, it can't be a shootout. I mean, Jason Hamilton's pitching a good game, but that's one of those, look, I'm not taking you out right now. I want you to get this guy, finish the inning. His pitch count is relatively low, 88 pitches.
One and one. Two and one to McCann. McCann, fly ball to center, fly ball to left.
He's got his relievers ready, and that is absolutely a confidence booster that he's showing Jason Hamill, Rick Renteria, the manager of the Cubs, because James Russell is ready to pitch to the lefty.
3-1. And he walked him. Close pitch on 3-1. He walked him. Moves to Sherrod to second base. Well, he is taking him out this time. He gave him that one batter. 92 pitches for Hamill. And Renteria is going to call on the right-hander with Soriano due up. Yankees have the tying run at second base. It's 2-1 Cubs here in the sixth.
Interesting.
Extended conversation with the home plate umpire Lance Barrett. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Wireless. As Hamill is done and Justin Grimm comes on. Verizon 4G LTE, America's largest 4G LTE network. 22nd game for Grimm, 18 hits and 18 and 2/3 innings, 22 strikeouts, but too many walks.
Yeah, that 12 walks pops out. Justin Grimm was in the Matt Garza trade, Texas Ranger farmhand. Way too many walks, creating a lot of base runners as a reliever. That's a big no-no. Make him throw strikes.
Here's Soriano, 2 fly balls to center. He grounds one to third. Oldfield steps on the bag, and Grimm comes on 1 pitch and gets out of the jam. But the Yankees score a run on 2 hits. 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-1 Cubs. Sights we've ever seen. And watch this. They put the beer on, and then the beer comes up from the bottom, and then they take the cup off, and it doesn't leak out. Al, you know beer. What's going on here?
I don't know. I'd like to go find out.
They'll lift this now, and it doesn't leak.
It's got to be a sealer or something on the bottom.
That's the most fascinating thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Wow.
Do you want me to go find out?
Yes, please. Get back by the 8th. Valbuena hits one through the shortstop hole with the shift on, and he is now 3 for 3. 2 doubles and that single.
Well, he pulled one. You can see even the approach is different. What? Did you see that? How he kind of checked up and then swung like he tried to go that way, as we saw earlier with Junior Lake. Kind of a little bit of a butcher boy, steps up and then just hit it to the hole. And I do believe it, Michael. You're going to see more of that across baseball. And the Yankees are the 2nd most shifted team to the Houston Astros.
Valbuena's seen 4 pitches. He has 3 hits. Again, the shift is on. Jeter is playing essentially third base in on the grass for Shearholtz.
You know, in addition to these shifts, and I'm glad you mentioned where Jeter is now. So now Jeter's a shortstop, right? So, you know, he is out of position. You have what was a shortstop in the minor leagues, and Solarte, he's now playing what would be to have to turn a double play. And you're seeing it across baseball. We saw it in there's a Texas Ranger game. We had the third baseman trying to turn 2. And they're just not used to it. They don't know how to transfer and make that turn. And it was a transfer, and he dropped it, and they called him safe.
The last game, Tanaka-Pitts, a 1-0 win over the Mets. Yankees won because of that. David Wright was trying to turn a double play, sidearmed it. McCann reached, would have been the final out, and then Soriano hit a double to score the only run of the game. You're putting people in positions that they don't feel comfortable. You're asking people to cover bunts where they don't feel comfortable. We'll see. Shearholtz calls time.
You know, and I don't mean for this to be an ignorant statement, Michael, because it is progress, and based on data and all of the reams of information that we now have. But I find it amazing the last 3 years, the amount of shifts in baseball exponentially from thousands to to maybe this year 5, 6, 7,000 ships. You know, what happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
There's a base hit to right field. Valbuena around second. He's going to third. The throw from Soriano is wide. And the Cubs have runners on first and third and nobody out here in the sixth.
Nate Scherholtz driving the ball. Now there is a shift here. You have the second baseman playing closer to first base, but that's just a legitimate base hit to right field. Soriano, the ball leaks a little bit up the line. Derek now at third base. No play. Watch Valbuena. Does not hesitate. Checks to see where Soriano is. Not the fastest guy. That better throw maybe would have been, well, certainly would have been a closer play. Well, Tanaka's definitely fighting his way through this start.
High pop-up, shallow left. Gardner makes the play. Valbuena tags. Here's the throw. Cut off by Teixeira, throws to second. That goes into center field. Scherholtz gets up. He'll go to third. And the Cubs lead 3-1.
Well, even with the shift in place, the third baseman, that's left of center field where you see the third baseman come out on that, but Teixeira drifting over. The play, I think the angle where Brett Gardner was, he was kind of leaning towards center field. Maybe that would have been an Ellsbury throw. We would have had his momentum going toward home plate. Gardner's got a good, strong arm. Teixeira thought he may have had him at second base, just a bad throw.
It's a sac fly, an RBI for Alt, and an E3 on Teixeira. Infield in for Baker. 0-1. For Teixeira's 5th error of the season. It's almost like 3 seasons worth of errors for him. Last time he made 5 errors in a season was 2008. I've talked to a couple of people about that, and the general feeling is he didn't play hardly at all last year. And it takes a while to get back. Your rhythm, your timing, even defensively, not just at the plate. Maybe that's what he's going for. Starting to rain again here at Wrigley. The 1-1. Ellsbury goes and gets it, hauls it in. Tagging is Scherholtz. He will score. It's another sac fly. And it's a 4-1 Cubs lead, and that error really looms large.
You think you're good, but you're not.
John Baker getting the pitch that he can elevate. And yeah, Michael, that error resulting in Scherholtz getting to third base and difference in space in the Yankees. A couple more runs here in the 7th inning.
Chris Coughlin is going to pinch hit for Grimm.
It's at 7th, 6th inning.
Yep. And a strike. And the 0-2 to Coughlin. Missed outside. 95 miles an hour.
There's that mad fastball. He was been mostly around 92, 93 tonight.
That starts with a single, right where the shortstop would be placed. Then a throwing error by Teixeira lets a runner get to third, where he scores on a sac fly. And it's 4-1 Cubs, the 2-2. 3-2. Bonifacio on deck. Swing and a miss. Coughlin down on strikes. But 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and nobody left on base. We played 6. 4-1 Cubs. Post your thoughts to Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag My9Yankees, and your words could end up on the big screen in Times Square. Follow us on Twitter at My9NJ or like us on Facebook at My9TV, and you can see your posted lights at the crossroads of the world. Cubs lead 4-1 in the top of the 7th inning. And as we move along here, in the 7th inning, we'll also give you the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. You see the Red Sox trailing Toronto 7-4. The Red Sox actually signed Stephen Drew today to a contract worth $10 million from this point on. So prorated, it would be the $14 million he turned down as the qualifying offer. And the Red Sox showing they made a mistake. They don't have enough offense, and Bogarts hasn't been hitting, and Middlebrooks is hurt. So they bring in Drew, who should be ready in about 2 weeks, they say. Brian Schlitter, the new pitcher for the Cubs.
Interesting, right? All that talk of Stephen Drew. Now he's back to where I guess he should have been in the first place. Was that an overvaluation on he and his agent's part, or more of a desperate move by the Red Sox?
Chop back to the mound. Schlitter fields. 1 out. Well, the one thing that he gets out of it, Al, is with this signed contract, they can't offer him arbitration. So there will not be a compensation pick when he becomes a free agent next year. But he also lost 2 months out of his career that he's never going to get back. You see Preston Claiborne up for the Yankees as Tanaka is supposed to be on deck, but Ichiro comes out on deck.
No, I say misvaluation because he was offered the arbitration 14.
Yeah. But he thought that he and his agent thought that there were multiple years out there for him. There's a strike. Isn't there one more big-time player out there like that? Kendrys Morales, I think.
Kendrys Morales has not signed, right? Because the two pitchers came off in spring training, right? Or even late with Urban Santana.
Roberts wraps one to right field, and Sherholtz with the catch for the second out. Well, Ichiro was on deck, and now they've called him back, and they're going to send up Kelly Johnson instead. I guess they would have gone with Ichiro if the runner had gotten on. I would kind of think the other way. If there was a runner on, Johnson's probably more prone to hit a home run. Probably send him up there, but Ichiro sits back down.
Be a question to ask Joe.
Kelly hitting .208, 4 homers and 12 ribbies. They shift for him, 3 infielders on the right side, pitch inside. Cubs bullpen has been very, very good of late. Popped up left field. And Lake makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning as the Yankees go down in order on just 6 pitches. Time for the 7th inning stretch here at Wrigley. 4-1 Cubs. Tri-State Kia retailers. To learn more, visit TriStateKiaDealers.com. New pitcher for the Yankees is Preston Claiborne.
Done a nice job for the Yanks. The 2.19 ERA, very respectable. Emerging as a go-to guy for Joe Girardi. Sean Kelly's a big loss in that Yankee bullpen.
7th inning stretch here at Wrigley. They used to have Harry Carey sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and since Harry's passing, they have a celebrity do it each day. Osborne deals to Bonifacio, fouled away. The celebrity today was Clay Cook of the Zach Brown Band. And Clay sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," but unfortunately needed notes and was reading off a piece of paper.
But you know what I watched? That's a standard thing. I saw Len Casper, right?
Yeah.
The play-by-play guy. It's on a like a hard, nice copy of the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Maybe just they get nervous. Maybe it's like singing. I don't know.
National anthem sometimes.
Well, no, that I could see that. Happy birthday.
I think you know the words to "Happy Birthday." But when I was watching him do it, it reminded me of our great friend and colleague, Bobby Mercer, the late Bobby Mercer, who did it in 2003 when the Yankees were here, because he played for the Cubs as well. And today would have been Bobby's 68th birthday.
Oh.
So we miss Bobby to this day.
You bet.
Bonifacio with a high fly ball to right center. Long run for Ellsbury. He can't get there. And it bounces into the ivy. He's going to fire it in. And Bonifacio is at third with a triple. Makes a turn. Stops right there.
I thought that ball had plenty of hang time. I know you as a visiting player, you're not sure where you are. Bonifacio giving this a ride. Fastball down the middle. Not a home run hitter at all. This is first triple of the year. Gets on his horse. Now, at that point, I just think Ellsbury didn't realize how far he had to go to the wall. Would have been a great play.
Yankees have to bring the infield in. Here's Junior Lake. This team obviously not afraid to suicide or safety squeeze. Al, I wonder, you mentioned before, the ivy is very, very famous out there. And you wonder, there's a brick wall behind it, if people are a little bit nervous about going full bore into the outfield wall.
You wonder. Michael, absolutely. As you know, look, that's, you know, in the spring and late fall, that goes brown again. But yeah, that's a, there's no padding. So I think, you know, and also too, that this is kind of an odd dimension. 368 is not a big power alley, and then it goes out to conventional 400 feet. There's a lot of space there, and I just think not knowing kind of where you are and the angle of the fence, because this isn't a conventional standard angle to its fence.
The 0-1. Now, if you're wondering, the ivy was first planted in 1937, and it was planted by Bill Veeck, who was the son of the president of the Cubs at that time. And it's been there ever since. One. Broken back ground ball to Solarte. Checks the runner, fires to first. One away.
Well, infield in, but example of Junior Lake and the shift working. Ryan Roberts on the shortstop side, and tough to get it through. Three guys, especially infield in. Big pitch, big out.
Well, here's Anthony Rizzo, and they're going to intentionally walk him. Ball three. And there was an intentional walk. Friday night, Yankees baseball continues here on My 9 as the Bombers battle the White Sox. It all starts at 8 p.m. as the action shifts to the other side of the Windy City. Yankees White Sox Friday at 8 here on My 9. This is the first game of a 2-game set at Wrigley Field. Tomorrow's game is an afternoon game, so an old-fashioned Wrigley afternoon game. And it'll start at 2:20 New York time, so we're looking forward to that. And you get a chance to see Chase Whitley, his second start. Matt Thornton getting ready. And he'll go up against one of the better pitchers in baseball without a win, Jeff Samardzija,
who is also talked about being on the trade block come July 31st.
So the infield backs up as the Yankees are now playing for the double play. Starlin Castro, the cleanup batter for the Cubs, as McCann goes out and talks with Claiborne. This is his 22nd game in the cleanup spot this year, the most for any Cubs shortstop in one season since Ernie Banks hit cleanup 52 times in 1961. In fact, in Major League Baseball, there are only 2 shortstops. 2 other shortstops who started any games from the cleanup spot. Troy Tulowitzki, 25, and Ian Desmond, 2. There's a strike to Castro. Moments ago, the sky lights up off in the distance here from Wrigley Field. We've had a lot of that this evening. Right now the rain has stopped. Kind of started in the 3rd inning, off and on since then. The 0-1. 0-2 on Castro.
Good job by Preston Claiborne getting ahead of a very good hitter, a hot hitter, Starlin Castro. Looking for a double play ball or infield pop-up. Now you get ahead as the pitcher, 0-2. You're thinking punch out. Good slider. He's got the sinker slider combination. Claiborne does. He's got 2 pitches here to really think put away. Strikeout, whatever that strikeout pitch is. See if he buries the slider down the way here.
The 0-2. At the knob of the bat.
A good thing for the Yankees, impressive Claiborne. I thought that ball came up and in and hit him. Yeah. Well, the up and in down the way. Let's see if that's in play. See how much movement Starlin Castro diving out over. Let's see, he's coming. Good location. Good job by Starlin Castro fighting off a pitcher's pitch after taking one, almost hitting you. Claiborne paints down and away. Now again, with a runner at third base, pitcher, you can't think that your catcher cannot block a quality breaking ball down. If it's in the dirt, you got to bury it. You can't think about leaving it up. It's a hanging breaking ball is easy to loft to the outfield.
Thornton still warming. Four straight foul balls off the bat of Castro.
Well, the way Valbuena's swung the bat, I got to believe that Thornton's going to be in for him.
The 0-2. 1-2.
It's a good take by Starlin Castro. Good changeup down the zone. Tracked it well. Was not really fooled.
chasing Rizzo back, trying to catch him sleeping. Cubs 4 and the Yankees 1. We're at the bottom of the 7th inning. Tanaka went 6. Gave up 3 runs, 1 unearned, so 4 in all. Fly ball left center. Coming on is Ellsbury. Can't make the play. Backing up is Gardner. Scoring is Bonifacio, and it's 5-1 Cubs.
So really good at bat from Starlin Castro. Fought off some good pitches from Preston Claiborne. Claiborne got ahead 0-2. Fought a couple fastballs in. Barely fouled it off. And that's the hanging slider. Slider's an easier pitch for a hitter to get some loft on it. That's all he was trying to do other than drive it for a hit. Gets it just in front of Brett Gardner and Ellsbury for a base hit. And that'll be all for Claiborne.
Well, with Balbuena due up with 2 doubles and a single, they're going to take Claiborne out and bring in Thornton. We'll be right back with that matchup. As we are here in the bottom of the 7th. All right-handers. Daly's warming up. You've got Aceves, Warren, Betances, and Robertson. And what's left on the bench for the Yankees? Well, we know that Ichiro is still available as they pulled him back off the on-deck circle. Zoilo Almonte, a switch hitter. And 2 righty hitters, Brandon Ryan and John Ryan Murphy. One out, runners on first and second. The pitch to Balbuena is inside. Thornton has not pitched that well for the Yankees yet. 7 2/3 innings, 10 hits, .313 average against. And what he needs, Al, he needs a breaking ball against lefty. He throws a lot of fastballs, and you want to counteract lefties up there by having a breaking ball move away from them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, you know, really has been the MO for Matt Thornton since he came up in the minor leagues and the power arm that he was with the Chicago White Sox. And, you know, he doesn't throw 97 anymore. You know, here's a guy that has a very good arm and just doesn't believe in his slider enough to feel like it's consistent to get hitters out. There's a good one right there. And I'm a believer. I mean, if you're a lefty specialist, you know, especially with a Matt Thornton, with the velocity that he has, that can really offset hitters to not just sit fastball. But he's shown enough to where hitters don't really have to swing or honor and respect his slider because he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. And then you become a one-pitch pitcher. And unless you're hitting spots or you're throwing 95 to 100, you know, you really, room for error is very small.
He's used to pitching in Chicago, 8 years with the White Sox. Hit sharply right at Teixeira. He goes the second one. On to first. There's nobody covering. Nobody was covering for the double play, so Valbuena reaches on the fielder's choice, 3-6.
Well, I always contend as a left-hander. Let me take a look. Well, we'll see the hot smash to Teixeira. Now he's going to the right place, of course. Teixeira too far away from the bag. Derek is waiting. Matt Thornton. Now, let's see here. He pauses momentarily. Slows down to either A, doesn't think he can get him. Now, it does become a foot race with an everyday player hitter with a pitcher who's not as fast. Still, no excuse. You'd get there and at least have Derek to think that maybe there's a play.
Here's Nate Schierholtz. Count 1-0.
And I only say that, Michael, because it was really hard, and I was big and heavy and fat and all that. I just had a tough time getting over there. I was not snoozing. Lefties usually, generally, they fall off to third base, and now you're in a foot race with a fast guy for the most part.
Oh, you aren't fat.
I guess that's relative, right, Mike?
No, you aren't fat. Tremendous athlete. Won a lot of games.
As my everyday teammates just say, you're a pitcher, Al. I guess that eliminated athlete.
And strike.
1-1 count right here. Nate Schierholtz is still looking heater. Somewhere in that 93, 94. On good days, Matt Thornton could hit 95, 96. Throw a slider here. 92 peels off. And the one slider he threw, Mike, to Valbuena, it was a good pitch. It's got good movement. Just find that release point to be able to get into counts, throw strikes with it, and a put away. Start on the plate, breaks down and away, off the plate a foot. You'll get a lot of lefties chasing.
And that hit him. Didn't want to do that. And that loads the bases. Barely grazed the back arm. So the base is loaded and Alt due up. Girardi's going to go to the bullpen. He'll bring in Daly. Yankees trailing 5-1. York Yankees baseball on My 9 is brought to you in part by Time Warner Cable, Internet, TV, and home phone from Time Warner Cable, 1-855-1-TWC. By Delta, keep climbing. And by Chase, banking for the life you have, investing for the life you want. Tuesday evening here in Chicago. Cubs lead the Yankees by a score of 5-1. They're looking for more as we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Cubs have the bases loaded. The Yankees bringing their 3rd pitcher of the inning, right-hander Matt Daly, in his 5th game. And he's going to face Mike Olt, who has 2 ribbies, 1 for 2 with a sac fly. And a strike. Two and one.
Could have been a cross up there, a little breaking ball. Daly pitching better of late. I know it showed the high ERA, but retired both batters he faced in game 1 of the doubleheader on Sunday. To a perfect 9th 1 inning on Saturday. 3 scoreless innings against the Mets. Kind of funky delivery. See how he squats when he starts.
Well, no place to put Alt. Count 3-1. And he walked him, forcing in a run. 6-1 Cubs.
Tough spot. You come in and bases loaded and immediately get behind in the count, and now it becomes kind of a gulp. I have to hit my spot and be perfect. 3-1 count to any hitter, major league hitter. They're going to keyhole you, look for one spot. It looked like you just forced that one.
Here's John Baker. Well, the Cubs have 6 runs. They scored 2 on sac flies and 1 run now on a walk. Oh, and 2. Yankees on the road for 9 games. 2 here against the Cubs, 4 on the other side of town against the White Sox, and then 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals. Swing and a miss. And that'll do it. But the Cubs scored 2 more runs. The end of 7. 6-1 Chicago. shows the conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. Not much there. Brett Gardner 2 for 3, a double, and scored the Yankees' only run. Derek Jeter sacked bunt and a single. Mark Teixeira an RBI single. The bottom of the order hasn't done much from McCann down. All zeros. New pitcher for the Cubs. Their fourth pitcher will be James Russell. A left-hander. He'll face Gardner, Jeter, and Ellsbury, top of the Yankee order.
Son of the closer, John Russell. Several years in the big leagues. His father, Texas Rangers.
Well, the Yankees want to rally, obviously, to win this game and also to bail out their starting pitcher, Masahiro Tanaka, who is on the hook right now for this loss. And he was asked the other day at the stadium, do you remember what it feels like to lose? And he was not amused by that question. He goes, yes, I do. And that was his answer. Now, he did lose in Game 6 of the Japan series last year, but came back and pitched in relief the very next day to win the series. But the last time he lost a regular season game, Al, was August 19th of 2012. It's been 43 starts between that and this, and that loss was to the Cebu Lions. And Gardner down on strikes.
Well, it's not over yet, but boy, those numbers you're citing, pretty amazing.
At the playing shortstop, Derek Jeter.
Here's Derek Jeter. Derek 1 for 2 with a sac bunt. Tap slowly towards second. And Jeter beats out the infield hit.
Well, I don't know how many he's had of these, but so many. Off the end of the bat, hustling out of the box, smelling a hit. Now you see him shaking his head. I'm sure he'd like to drive the ball somewhere in the outfield, but a hit's a hit, especially in a game like this, down 6-1.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Yankees need him to break out of this. 0 for 3, 1 for his last 22. Jacoby with a fly ball to left in the first, struck out in the third, and a pop up to short in the sixth. A nice running play by Castro on that one with a runner on third base and 1 out. Oh, 2. His average at one time over 330 is now to 271. The 0-2. 1-2.
I talked to Kevin Long during the batting practice, Michael, about Ellsbury, and just said, caught in between. And you hear that often when, you know, through the course of a season, guys get 550, 600 bats in some cases. Late on the fastball, and that timing mechanism of his landing foot, of being fooled in front of the breaking ball, and then you get beat. And now you stay back, and even on a decent fastball, not a great fastball, even decent fastball, and I'd call that in the 92, 93 range, you know, you're late. And then all of a sudden, it's this whole snowball. Late on the fastball, fooled on the breaking ball. Okay, I'll stay back. I'll look breaking ball, depending upon who it is. This James Russell mentioned about Matt Thornton, about establishing and getting a consistent breaking ball. This is what makes James Russell a big league pitcher. He's got a good slider to the left-handers. You see he's fighting right now. Ellsbury's having to fight to stay in this at bat. When you see lefty-righty splits, Russell splits last year, 183 against lefties, 321 righties. So he's just kind of in between. You know, the front hips out, kind of looking fastball, got to fight it, 2-2. And then here, and that is classic, caught in between. Tough lefty, good slider. I just told you his splits, 183 against lefties, 321 righty, and then he paints down and away. Beautiful location. You see the glove not even moving John Baker. It's just perfect big league pitch. He knows it.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He's driven in the Yankees' only run. Now batting from the right side, takes outside, 1-0. Wave through that one.
It's a good pitch. Changeup, 2 changeups in a row. Shields not overpowering, 89, 90. You mentioned the slider, and then there's that changeup. See it down and away. Not only is it off speed out in front, but perfect location.
Grounded foul. We're in the 8th inning at Wrigley. Yankees 6 and the Cubs 1. Just missed outside. Russell walking up the mound wanted that one. So the count 3-2. That's going to release Jeter at first.
I think he got this ball down. Let's take a look right here, Michael. This is a little slider down. You see him pull the glove up. I think that ball was down. Lance Barnett, home plate umpire, saw it that way.
And he walked him.
Good at bat from Mark Teixeira after being fighting off a couple changeups. Was able to draw the walk.
And that'll bring up McCann. One big fly from being right back in this game. And a strike. Two. McCann 0 for 2 with a walk today. Fly ball to center, fly ball to left. He walked in the 6th inning. First and second, 2 men out. We're in the 8th. One and two. Foul the back.
That's a pitch right there, Michael. Brian McCann, I know he's been struggling for the most part. That's a pitch, a lefty on lefty. Russell's got the good slider fastball combination. That ball is right down the middle. McCann would love to have that one back. When you're fighting in a game like this, just trying to get something together, and the Yankees have not put much together, only 3 hitters have hits. Any mistake a pitcher makes, you got to capitalize.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Yankees down 6-1. Top of the 8th inning.
Lance Barrett, the home plate umpire, not calling that low pitch. I think that ball was outside as well.
Look at Wrigley Field from up high in right field. Two. Ground ball to first. Rizzo flips to Russell, and that will do it. As the Yankees strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs lead the Yankees 6-1. Bonifacio with 2 hits. Valbuena with 3. 2 doubles and 2 runs scored. 3 ribbies from Mike Alt. And John Baker, a light hitting catcher, 2 for 3, a double, a ribby, and a run scored. All adds up to 6-1. Cubs lead the Yankees in the bottom of the 8th inning. Line down the right field line. Foul. Ryan Kalish is pinch hitting for the pitcher, Russell. As we move along this inning, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Nissan. Shop. ChooseNissan.com. Grounded right back to Daly. 1 away. Nice play by Daly. Crowd thinning out just a bit here at Wrigley. A sellout. Sat through rain. and many on their way home. Maybe they'll be here for tomorrow afternoon's game. New York start time 2:20. Mark that down. Jeff Samardzija against Chase Whitley. Valbuena fouls it away. Valbuena 2 for 4. RBI single and a triple over the head of Ellsbury in center.
That's why you got to play these games, right, Michael? Coming into this game, the Cubs are batting .234 as a team, 27th in all of baseball. Struggling to score runs, on base percentage.
Bonifacio takes low, 1-2.
Facing Tanaka, who's undefeated, dominating. Tanaka, for the most part, just didn't look like he had a rhythm. I mean, I know the first inning, 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts, and got in trouble, left the ball up.
High fly ball, right field. Soriano is there. Puts it away for the second out. Well, after the final pitch, stay tuned for the Verizon Fios game wrap-up. We'll have a breakdown of tonight's action, plus news and more from the clubhouse. The Verizon Fios game wrap-up tonight on My 9, followed by Chasing New Jersey. Here's Junior Lake. Lake is 0 for 4. 0-2. Lake struck out looking in the first, grounded to first in the third, struck out swinging in the fifth, and grounded out to third in the seventh. Neil Ramirez up in the bullpen for the Cubs. Popped up, long run for Teixeira, and he can't make the play. Daly gets behind Lake, and the throw gets away from him. They would have had him. Another example of the shift. They had 3 infielders on the left side. Nobody could get that ball other than Teixeira, who had a long run, and he just couldn't get there.
Well, there we see the shot there. You see the second baseman up on the top of your screen. This is a jam shot. Michael mentions it. You got a long way for Teixeira, who's not. That would be a difficult play for even a second baseman. I'm not sure where Soriano was, if he was playing too far back. It looked like a short fly ball to right. Couldn't get to it. Then it gets in that little triangle area. And I agree with you, Michael.
I think a second baseman has that easily.
Oh, easily, yeah. I'm saying it would have been a nice play, but much easier for Brian Roberts than Mark Teixeira.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. One and 0. 2-0. Right in on the hands. Grounded into the Yankee dugout. Rizzo is the only Cubs starter beside the starting pitcher Hamill without a hit in this game. And he swings and misses. Count 2-2. The second time tonight that's happened with Rizzo. He hits one off the third base side of the screen, and the way it's angled, it caroms the ball right back to where Rizzo's standing and almost hits him and Brian McCann. There's very little foul territory behind the plate. The 2-2. Grounded to first. Teixeira's right there. He'll step on the bag, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. Yankees coming up the ninth. Can they make up this deficit? They're down 6-1. With the Verizon Fios game wrap-up, we'll have a breakdown of tonight's action, plus news and more from the clubhouse. The Verizon Fios game wrap-up tonight on My 9, followed by Chasing New Jersey. A lot of Jeter fans here tonight. They got to see Derek get 2 hits and a stolen base. Now they'll see the Yankees try to rally here in the ninth inning. Neil Ramirez will come on. His 11th game, 5 hits and 2 walks in 9 1/3 with 15 strikeouts. Pretty nice ERA as well. Soriano's 0 for 3. He'll lead it off in his return to Wrigley Field. 2 fly balls to center and a ground ball to third for the force out. Breaking ball made him duck inside 1-0.
Well, tonight you see Theo Epstein's trade results mattering in the Matt Garza trade. And here's another one, Michael. Justin Grimm did a nice job. Mike Alt's got 3 RBIs, and Neil Ramirez was also in the trade when Matt Garza went to Texas last year.
Count 2-1 on Soriano. Cubs traded Soriano to the Yankees in the middle of the season last year. And they're picking up a good portion of the final year of his long-term deal that he signed with the Cubs. So 2-2 count on Soriano. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes.
Well, these Cub pitchers primarily went after Soriano with that breaking ball going down and away. I know that Jason Hamill's got a good one, and the 6 strikeouts that Hamill had, but Grimm, similar approach, and now here you see the young Ramirez attacking Soriano the same way.
Here's Solarte, 2 strikeouts and a ground ball back to the pitcher. And he bunts down the third baseline. Good job by him. He's going to have a base hit. They had the shift on. And Castro was playing where the shortstop would play. The entire left field line was open, and the Yankees need base runners, and Solarte picks up a hit.
Yeah, nice job. I mean, look, they're down 5 runs. Get on base however you can. You're going to open this up, give them a chance to get on base. Seeing the shift really play tonight, and not just on the shifts allowing someone to get a base hit, but guys out of position and not being able to do certain things because of where they are on the baseball field.
Yankees have 6 hits tonight, 3 of them infield hits. Here's Brian Roberts. Right in on the hands, he grounds it foul.
Well, Michael, I know this year, talking about instant replay and shifts, it seems like it'd be a big conversation these first couple months. And I just think, here we're seeing it. Tonight was a perfect example of this, 2014 baseball.
Ichiro's on deck to pinch hit for Daly. More thunder and lightning. Might hear it in the background. One and 2 to Roberts. Bryant struck out in the second. Fly ball to left in the 5th. Fly ball to right in the 7th. Missed outside.
And when I say 2014 baseball, what I mean is that how we're evolving. And I think as we see more of these players, like Anthony Rizzo did twice in St. Louis, bunting against the shift, you're going to see it tweaked. You're going to see things evolving back somewhat if they continue to do that.
3-2 as the Yankees need base runners here in the 9th inning. Fouled away. The 3-2. Grounded to second. Valbuena takes the out at first. And moving to second is Solarte. Yankees down to their final out. As Ichiro will pinch hit.
Ladies and gentlemen, pinch hitting for the Yankees, number 31, Ichiro Suzuki.
Cubs have their closer Hector Rondon up, just in case. The lightning increasing in frequency. The buildings beyond center field being illuminated in the background by bright flashes of light and thunder in the distance. Count 2-0 on Ichiro. Ramirez, the 5th Cubs pitcher. Right down the middle. Ichiro taking all the way as the Yankees looking for base runners. Count 3-1. Ichiro hitting .356 in limited opportunities so far this year. Now 3-2. Fouled away. Staying alive by fouling back 3-2. Eighth pitch coming to Ichiro. Now you can make it 9.
All after a 3-0 count, Michael. Ichiro just fighting it as the lightning goes across the sky. 9th pitch.
3-2.
What a bat.
They walked him. And now Rondon throws with a little more purpose out there. Cubs trying to win their 3rd straight game.
Well, there's your closure. One more base runner will then be created for a safe situation. The tying run has to be on deck. Oh, he's going to pull him right now.
Well, he's going to call in his closer, and this is not a safe situation. So Ramirez will turn the ball over to Rondon. Yankees have runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. They're down 6-1 here in the 9th. There's been plenty in the sky, but not much on the field for the Yanks. Looking a little lethargic and slow against the Cubs pitchers, and this is the 5th Cub reliever and the 6th pitcher overall, Hector Rondon. He is their a closer, 5 for 5 in save situations. 24 strikeouts in 20 in the 3rd innings. And the rain is starting again here at Wrigley. First and second for the Yankees, 2 outs. Here's Brett Gardner, who's 2 for 4. .96-mile-an-hour gas for a strike.
Averages right at about 94, Michael. This is their closer, future closer. Fastball slider. It's been dominant.
Count 1-1. It's beyond me, why wouldn't you let Ramirez have one more batter? If he loads the bases, then it's a safe situation, and you're still giving your reliever wiggle room because the tying run's not at the plate, it's on deck. Pulled the string there, 1-2. Solarte off second, Ichiro off first. The pitch. 2-2. Yankees trying to battle back here in the 9th inning. They're down 6-1.
Well, there's also the what if, and I know it's in a tough spot right now with Brett Gardner, but what if it continues to rain with some delay? And you got your closer on the mound. Does he come back out?
The 2-2. 3-2. On deck is Jeter.
Starting to rain hard now.
A beautiful day in Chicago this afternoon, but there was this rain in the forecast for the evening, and it's panned out. Runners will go. The 3-2. And he walked him. Bases loaded. Yankees still alive. .29 total pitches this inning for Cubs pitchers.
Getting that 27th out. Here it is, the proverbial. It's tough to get the last one. Started out with a shift push bunt by Solarte, a great at bat by Ichiro, and now there Gardner, another good at bat.
Jeter gets on. The Yankees will bring the tying run to the plate. Bases loaded, and the pitch. 0-1. Great numbers with the bases loaded for Jeter. Derek has 2 hits and 3 at-bats and a sac bunt tonight. Yankees down to their final strike. It is pouring here in Chicago. 0-2. Quick turnaround tomorrow, a 2:20 start, Eastern time. Jeff Samardzija against Chase Whitley. And the 0-2. Grounded to short. Castro flips the first, and that'll do it. The Cubs win 6-1. And for the first time in 639 days, Masahiro Tanaka has lost a regular season game. Last time on August 19th of 2012 against the Cebu Lions, and now here on May 20th, 2014, he loses to the Cubs, his first loss in the major leagues. We have got some awards to give out. You got to stay with us, and then we have the Verizon Fios game wrap-up. Lots of stuff still to do, so stay right here. Cubs beat the Yankees by a score of 6-1.